Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AEW Dynamite, October 16th, 2019. As you guys can tell, I sound a little bit better than yesterday's review on Monday Night Raw, which was god awful, terrible. Thankfully, this show was decent. I was highly entertained by this. The show was very fun and enjoyable. Every week for the last 3 weeks, AEW has provided very entertaining and fun wrestling to us fans. They make it seem cool to be a wrestling fan again. And that's what I enjoy about AEW most importantly. It is a series of great tag team wrestling, a lot of tag team wrestling, to be quite frank with you, outside of 2 championship matches. That's all you got pretty much tonight was tag team wrestling. And my God, would I say this was great tag team wrestling at its finest. So let's get into it. Before things got started between SCU and the Best Friends, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. attacked SCU. They went after Christopher Daniels in a package pile driver on the stage. Now, this seemed a little weird to me because Christopher Daniels' head really smacked into the stage. Another thing that stood out to me most importantly was the fact that fucking Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix ended up attacking these guys. Now, outside of the little bickering that happened between SCU and the Lucha Brothers, I didn't really see any point in this. But as this match went on, you get to see the reality of why they did it. They actually had Scorpio Sky take the place of Christopher Daniels because of the fact of the injury. Now, hopefully this is just a work and not a real injury. I hope it's not real. So this brought in Scorpio Sky. Now, this, I believe, is to get people focused on Scorpio Sky's in-ring ability, because he really displayed it here in this event. He really grabbed my attention a lot throughout this match, but I've seen him in previous matches, so it was not a surprise to me that he did so well in this match. So we had the Best Friends, which is Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor tag teaming against Scorpio Sky and Kazarian. So Kazarian and Chuck Taylor get things started. Taylor goes right after Kazarian's already dinged up back. Pile driver right into a knee strike on Kazarian, cover for 2. Sky gets in there but doesn't have much luck. Sky's sneakers come off and Taylor throws it over to the ramp and then bites Sky's foot. Taylor with a double stomp on Sky's back. Trent hits a spear on Kazarian out on the floor. So things really heated up throughout this entire matchup. Very fast paced too. Wasn't really that much of a moment in the match that it slowed down very much at all. So it was like in second or third gear throughout most of the match. Back in the ring, Trent continues to work over Kazarian. Chops sits him up on the top turnbuckle. Kazarian fights him off for the moment. Taylor gets under Trent's legs to help lift him up, and they hit a superplex on Kazarian, a cover for a 2 count. Sky gets a tag still without one shoe, but is able to clear out both opponents. Sky looked to fly, but Taylor hit him to stop that. Taylor went for a senton out to the floor and mistakenly hit Trent, which was actually a very surprising moment in this matchup. I didn't figure that mistake was going to happen, but it did. So Kazarian with a Hurricanrana from the ring down to the floor on Taylor. Sky then flips over the top and takes out both guys. His maneuver, Scorpion Sky, this guy is fucking unreal. When he does a fucking maneuver off the top, over the ropes, and onto the floor, he makes it look phenomenal. A wrestler in WWE that would fit great with this company is not utilized with his in-ring wrestling ability is Ricochet. Ricochet would be such a great asset to AEW, and he would be so much more important in AEW than he is in WWE. And that's pretty sad because he's a great talent. So, Sky then launches his remaining sneaker out to the crowd, and it gets sent right back into the middle of the ring. Crowd with a "he's got no shoes" chant. Trent gets launched into the corner, rolling elbow by Sky. Kazarian tags in, springboard leg drop, and best friends hit a foot to the face, half and half suplex on Kazarian. They go for a hug, and Sky breaks it up. Crowd boos. I don't know why. I thought it was kind of stupid. Their gimmick, really, I don't particularly care for, which is why I'm glad SCU won this match. Sky hits a rising knee strike, followed by a flying knee. Then they get back in and hug in. Kazarian gets back up on Taylor's shoulders and blah, blah, blah. Just to get to the point, Sky stops, then sends Taylor into the barricade. Kazarian back body drops Trent on the apron. Sky tags in, powerbomb dropkick combo on Trent, and they get the 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of the match. And that's pretty much the whole gist. Then we go to break. We see Santana and Ortiz walking out to the ring. These guys have a tag team match with these guys called John Silver and Alex Reynolds. This match was very short and sweet to the point. This match ends with Santana and Ortiz, of course, picking up the victory, hyped them up a little bit more. So at this point, we get Jericho on the Titantron. Jericho's pretty much spieling about how the Inner Circle is the top-notch faction in the AEW, and that they want to have Santana and Ortiz face the Young Bucks to prove who's the better tag team in AEW at this point in time, since they're both high profilic, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but a high talented tag team like these two teams. Now, for this match to even happen is insane, because I don't think Santana and Ortiz in a big stage has ever faced each other before. Now, they have faced each other in House of Glory, which to me is not a big stage. I mean, if you are a super duper fucking crazy wrestling fanatic that goes everywhere possible to get a fill of wrestling, then yeah, you probably have seen this. But I don't think these guys have faced each other but more than once. And that's about it. So for this to just even happen here on a big stage like this is a big deal. So, let's see here. We then get a video package about Cody Rhodes. He has Brandy Rhodes talking to him, and he's kind of intense. He's really thinking a lot about the match, is what they're kind of portraying here. You hear Brandy's voice kind of fade off. It seems to be a little bit more like a orchestrated type movie type video package, and you get the idea that this is all about Cody and his focus on beating Chris Jericho for the not the WWE Championship, my God. The AEW Championship. You also get some insight on DDP, Tony Schiavone, and MJF, pretty much kind of putting their 2 cents in how they think this match is really important to Cody Rhodes, how important it is, and how serious he's taking this match, which I thought was fantastic. It was very realistic to normal life wrestling. It seemed very sport authentic to me. So I actually enjoyed that little segment they had in that segment. So that was a nice little video package to hype up the World Championship match. Now Rio defends her AEW Women's World Championship title against Britt Baker. This match was kind of a in-between good match and a shitty match. The reason why I say it like that is the beginning part of the match, it starts out to be really crappy. By portion of the match, it starts to pick up, gets a little bit more momentum, and starts to be very good. The match was very predictable. I didn't think that Britt Baker would beat Riho in the very first title defense, especially after only having it for like 2 weeks. That'd be very weak for them to do something like that. This match could have been saved really for the full Gear pay-per-view. I think this was just done to get some more attention grabbers for ratings and whatnot, but that's about it. So yeah, Riho actually picks up a victory. A very intelligent way of doing it too. She does a roll up while being placed in a mandible claw / crossface type situation, and she just rolls her up and gets the 1, 2, 3. Match itself was very evenly matched. Nobody had the upper hand over the other person throughout most of it, so it was very close matchup altogether. Alright, Lucha Brothers versus Jurassic Express. I had a problem with this match. Where was Luchasaurus? He was not here. He wasn't mentioned whatsoever that he was not going to be able to show up for this matchup. I thought Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were the tag team partners of this faction. And Marco was just kind of like the guy on the outside. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Marco and Jungle Boy were the tag team partners for this tournament. And they lost this match, and they should have, because without Luchasaurus, there's really no reason for these guys to be here. Luchasaurus made them legit, and Jungle Boy is pretty good, but without Luchasaurus, he doesn't have the tall guy with him. He just seems a bit out of place to beat the fucking Lucha Brothers. That's kind of stupid. So I'm glad they went with the Lucha Brothers in this matchup and won the match. So that's pretty much the situation on that. Sorry guys, but I'm trying to hack up phlegm, and I know that's kind of gross to be doing that while I'm trying to do a fucking review. So I'm going to try not to do that, but it's really messing up my voice box. So I apologize on that, but I'm just dealing with a fucking really bad cold that I can't stand. So then we have Pac and Jon Moxley face Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. This match I didn't really agree with either. I mean, the match itself was good, but the idea of having this match, I didn't like. Explanation why. You got Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega already scheduled for Full Gear. Why would you give them any taste of what it's going to be like in the matchup at Full Gear during a free show? Don't you want people to not know what might happen at this event or what to expect? Make it unexpected. So that's just my overall beef on this. But the match itself was great and the ending was spectacular. Especially with Jon Moxley turning on Pac and hitting him with the Death Rider and finishing him off altogether. Originally, Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega had a broom, which is representing his nickname, the Cleaner. Moxley had a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it as well. And they were about to continue where they left off until Pac interfered last week. This time around, Pac tries to interfere again, but is like, hey, dude, you're costing us this match. And it was a great match. There's no doubt about it. But Pac's interest was trying to win the match. Jon Moxley's interest in this match was no concern to him. His concern was brutally attacking Kenny Omega to give himself an advantage over Kenny Omega going into Full Gear. So that was his whole idea and strategy going into this match. He didn't care whether or not he was going to get a pinfall because this match didn't mean anything to him. Which it didn't. It really didn't. This match was not important. This match wasn't needed. This was more along the lines of building a more, would you say, storyline to the match going into these two guys. But Pac being in the middle of it kind of, I feel, slows it down a little bit. It really should turn into a triple threat match, to be quite frank with you, but because of what happened to Pac with Moxley and Pac are going to face each other one-on-one next week, which I feel should be the main event of next week's episode at this point. So let's go through everything here. So yeah, just to get to the ending, Pac slowly gets up after the Death Rider, turns around into a buckshot lariat, Omega with a V trigger, and then Page hits the Deadeye for the cover for the 1-2-3. And that's pretty much how that match ends, with Kenny Omega and Adam Page winning that match. From this point, we had the World Championship match, Jericho and Darby Allin in a Philadelphia street fight for the AEW World Championship. This match was very good. Though I didn't agree at the end what they were doing here, I think it was a little far stretched out when Darby Allin was placed in his arms being tied, well, not tied, but taped behind his back. That should have been like right at the end. And another thing that I didn't agree with was having Jake Hager interfering in this matchup either. It really wasn't necessary. The man had his arms tied behind his back. He didn't need a second hand to help him out with this match. This was an easy gimme. And yet they made, in my mind, they kind of made Jericho look a little weak as a champion. I mean, they didn't have to do that. Really, that should have been done immediately with the tapes around his back, hits the walls of Jericho, and gets the instant submission by the referee because he couldn't do anything, couldn't get to a rope, he couldn't do nothing else to defend himself. So right then and there, he's basically trapped into having to give up the match anyway, whether he wanted to or not. So that ending I didn't agree with. I think they could have done without the tape behind the back for so long. But it did make him seem cool. I will admit that. It made Darby Allin look cool to be able to do all these things with his hands tied behind his back. But still, it didn't look realistic, is what I'm trying to say here. So that's where I have my beef with this. But did it look cool? Absolutely. I won't deny that. But it didn't seem realistic, and it also made Jericho look like a fucking weak-ass champion. After the match was over, the rest of the Inner Circle came out. They celebrated. They cracked open a little bit of the bubbly as Jericho celebrates with the title in his hand, and that's how the show goes off the air. That's pretty much it. I know this was very short. Usually I've been doing like 30 minutes to 40 minutes, but as you can tell, my voice is still not at 100% because of all the congestion and phlegm I got in my sinus cavities and whatnot. So I'm trying to make it short and sweet. I'm not really doing a whole extension, but I hope this was a good review to you guys. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you on that. Thank you very much for watching and have a great night, guys. Bye.